it's not going live. Why? Why is it not going live? It says I've been streaming for a whole minute already. Okay, there. I wonder who that is. Is that's YouTube? It takes so long to connect. Yeah, probably. So for some reason my laptop just stopped working altogether. So I'm busy signing in to Gmail and signing in to Twitch and signing in to everything again on my partner's laptop. Oh, what is my Gmail password? It's going to be one of my keys. Hopefully I got it right first time. Yes, I did. Security alert. Twitch login verification. Fantastic. Yes, I remember. I wanted to show you guys my solar thingamabob, but if I'm gonna do that, I have to disconnect the mic and connect the audio on there. I guess I can do it. I guess it's not the end of the world. this audio is not the best of quality, but bear with me. So I know in yesterday's stream I started out by talking about my solar charge controller. This fancy little device. There's my solar panel. $250 solar panel. So I'm going to put that up on the roof. basically everything I just described about the solar was incorrect. Don't worry about it. I'm just disappointed. Basically everything I was talking about was not heard because my computer devices are full of shit. My technology is limited. Sorry about that. I basically just took the camera outside to have a look at the solar panel and talk a little bit about its specs, but then the system fucked out. That was why. Very frustrating, all these technical difficulties. It's good enough. It's good enough, you know. Anyone who opens the video and starts watching it will still see me go outside and look at the panel and talk about it a little bit before it disconnects. And then it's not very long before I come back. How's my ping? 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. Oh, small ping. Very small ping. Yeah, I have to stream early in the day because I have to stream at this weird time slot because, yeah, it's just how it is. If I had streamed later, then I get kicked off of the internet and it just gets shut down. My bitrate drops. Like, I can still use the internet, I can still watch people's stuff, I can still watch YouTube videos or Facebook videos or whatever, I can still listen to music. I've still got access to the internet, as apparently I still have internet access, but if I try and stream, I can't. The bitrate is too low to stay online, and it's very frustrating. And yeah, it never used to be the case, so I don't know what's going on. The internet service provider, I guess they have sold too many packages. They have too many customers for their technology, for their system to cope, and it happened quite recently, so I'm gonna have to switch service providers. Also, in addition to that, you know, the electricity power provider shuts the power off randomly it used to, also quite new, they used to give you a schedule and say, hey, these are the times that we're putting the power off, and we're going to put it off at those times, and they were pretty good. They would put it off on the right times. They wouldn't give it back to you, though. Like, they'd say it's going to be off for 2 hours from here to there, so it'll go off on that mark at 1 o'clock, exactly when they said, but it doesn't come back at 3. It only comes back at like 4:45, 3:30. Now that is out the window. Now they don't give you any indication that it's going to go out until the last minute. They'll let you know like a couple hours in advance. Be like, it's going out at this time, and then you never know. It might or it might not go out at that time. So yeah, it's like the country's going to shit quite rapidly, and it's probably a good thing. The country was full of shit. All countries are full of shit, man. All politics is a load of shit. Yeah, to clarify, I've got absolutely no political opinion. I'm anarchist. I don't believe in any politics or agree with any politics. There is no political viewpoint or philosophy that I agree with. And religion, exactly the same. There is no religious belief or standpoint that I agree with. I disagree with all of them. I disagree with all politics and all religion. All politics should end, all religion should end. Every man must govern himself, and you must pick up a belief according to what works for you, and you must let go of a belief according to what doesn't work for you. And yeah. So the reason that we're switching to solar is because of the unreliable schedules, unreliable electricity supply. And that's not really the main reason. The main reason is that they are turning us off, or they've been telling us that they're going to turn us off for months, and they come and they turn it off, and then we have to argue with management to get it put back on, and yeah. We're just tired of that game. So we're moving to solar, and that's pretty much done. I still need a battery, but I've got that controller that I showed you guys. I've got a little inverter as well. I'll fetch it. Power inverter, 800 watts. So these things are small. So far what I've got here is quite small. You know, 60 amp solar charge controller. 60 amp solar charge controller can take like 600 watt solar panels max. But I've only got 250 watts, so I got a bigger one. I could have got a 30 amp, but I got a bigger one. For future, you know, because I plan to get more solar panels, another 250 watts or 320 watt or something like that, and then I've got this 800 watt inverter. So I calculated that this stream uses only about 40 amps, so 4 times 12 is 48, so that's 480 watts. 800 watts is enough to run the stream. But 480 watts of power is more than the solar panels are providing. You know, there's only one solar panel and it's only 250 watts. So, yeah. I calculated that a battery, a 1000 amp per hour battery, would power the stream for like 3 hours. If it was fully charged. So that implies that with the solar panel charging the battery, and then the battery powering the inverter, and the inverter running the stream, we would have 6 hours. 6 hours a day. Until, of course, I can get another solar panel. If I had one more solar panel the same size, I could run the stream during the day, you know? And if I had 2 batteries, I could run the stream for 6 hours after dark. That's basically half the night. Yeah. So that's where we stand. I'm gonna start setting up the rig. I was supposed to do that yesterday actually, but I decided to do other things yesterday. Could be doing it today, but decided that streaming today was a higher priority. We'll probably set it up this weekend. Or start. It doesn't all have to happen in one day. I can fix the solar panel to the roof and then do the wiring another day. But not tomorrow, you know. Tomorrow is Saturday and I don't do anything on Saturday. I don't do anything except magic and nothing. Do as little as possible on a Saturday. It's a day to rest. So I am doing tarot readings, by the way, if anyone wants a tarot reading. This new tarot deck here. It's not mine. Those of you who watch my channel know I use the Thoth Tarot. And this is my partner's deck. I bought it for her as a birthday present. It's the Modern Witch Tarot. Yeah, I thought I'd play around with it since it's here. I think it's a pretty cool tarot. The symbols are modernized, like, you know, modern clothing styles, fashion styles. Things like cell phones and computers and televisions are depicted in the laptops, are depicted in the cards. It's based off of the Rider-Waite, it would seem, given a bit of a modern spin. Yeah, so I thought I'd play around with it. I guess I'm gonna give myself a reading, since, you know, it's so quiet this Friday. doing wrong? Because I feel like I'm doing something wrong. I listen to what my spirit tells me. Again and again. Every action I take, I cross-reference it with my God. And then the results of the actions I take seem to be detrimental. Or they seem to create no progress, lead to no progress, or backtracking. And it's highly frustrating and disappointing. Yet when I ask, what am I doing wrong? And the Spirit says, endure. The Spirit says, endure, because when everything else fails, and when everything else falls, you will remain standing. And I see that's happening, you know, with the self-sufficiency, with the off-grid, moving in that direction, this establishing of independence. I get it. It seems like my efforts as an artist, though, my efforts as a musician and as an artist don't get anywhere, don't go anywhere. And that's frustrating. So what am I doing wrong? You know, when I share my art, my portraits, my tarot cards, why does it get no interaction, no engagement? When I mint NFTs, why does it get seen by no one? Why does it never result in a sale? Why does my channel seem to be stagnant? Why did I grow so quickly in the beginning, every stream producing 5, 6, 7 followers, and now when I stream I go backwards and lose subscribers and followers? What am I doing wrong? Let's see. What does the Modern Witch Tarot have to say to me? Starbrosive, glad you're here. Thank you so much for joining me, Jules. It's been lonely this last half hour here. Sweet light of my heart. Your words encourage me. So I'm going to do this reading for myself, and then I'll read it for you, if you would like a reading. This is my partner's deck. I bought it for her for her birthday. This is the first time I use it on stream. She's been using it on her channel. This is the first time I'm using it live. I've used it to give her a reading when it arrived. Oh, so I've got the Fool in reverse as my present card and my general overview. And I've got the Two of Wands crossing that. That's pretty interesting so far. I see. Sorry about that. I had it balanced. But when I turn and look in that direction and speak, then it... Here, I'll turn up the volume of the mic. Excuse me for a sec. Hopefully that's better. My conscious mind has a 3 of discs, 3 of pentacles. Ten of Wands in the unconscious mind in reverse. Okay. That kind of makes sense. This all kind of makes sense. So I'm asking, what am I doing wrong? And the Fool is saying to me that it's the start of a new karmic journey. It's like breaking of past cycles, stepping into a new cycle. And the reverse is kind of like saying that I'm still clinging on to the old cycle a little bit. I'm hanging on to old lifestyle. There's parts of the old cycle I don't want to let go of. And what does that look like though? I'm like trying to see, what does that look like in my life? What aspects of the old am I hanging on to? How does that apply to my stream? How does that apply to my art? Yeah, you're right, the 2 of Wands is right here, it's crossing the Fool. It kind of makes sense that things are changing, you know, rebirth has happened, a new journey has begun, nothing about the old is the same, and that I'm clinging onto something. I'll just have to do another reading about what it is that I'm clinging onto, because I don't really know what about the old cycle am I struggling to let go of. There's something about old habits and old patterns that didn't serve me that I keep going back to. I'm going to identify what that is. 2 of Wands crosses that rebirth, crosses that new journey, that quantum leap. And this is an interesting symbol. So this woman's got her cell phone in her right hand and she's holding her wand in her left hand. Interesting. And she seems to be looking out over the sea, looking out towards the sea. The number 2 talks to me about opportunities and potential. Wands talks to me about desires and intentions, passions, motivation. So it's like there's opportunities for my desires to manifest. There's opportunities for me to set my intentions in motion. So it's kind of saying to me that I have reached out towards certain desires and I have set certain intentions in motion and I'm committing to it the way that 2 of Wands tells you to commit. it says, if you want this potential to be realized, you must commit to it. And I'm committing to it, but some of these things that I've set in motion, some of these desires that I've reached for, they are part of an old cycle. They're part of an old habit, an old lifestyle that doesn't actually exist or isn't applicable in the present anymore. So me trying to be, it's like I'm trying to be consistent with something from a past cycle, but simultaneously I should be letting go of everything from that past cycle. And that's what I'm doing wrong, is that I'm like going in two opposite directions. Conscious mind is a 3 of Pentacles, 3 of Discs. So the 3 of Discs is like, over here I see an artist and he's drawing a portrait of a naked woman, and there seems to be his teacher, or no, her. All of these characters seem to be androgynous. All of these, like some of them are definitely women, like that one is definitely a woman, and the naked woman in this card is definitely a woman. But the artist and the teacher, they are non-binary. They could be male or female. So that really resonates with me, you know. That's what my conscious mind is doing, creating portraits and selling it, and Discs is to do with finances and security. Here we've got a teacher. In my reality, I see it's like not a teacher. Over here it's a teacher trying to direct the artist, but for me it's just the other people. The other people who come into my streams while I'm drawing, the people who see me in the process and watch and listen. But more than that, it's saying that this process of me incorporating live art streams and doing the portrait sketching, it's like 3 is about realization, self-acknowledgement, awareness. So it's like I'm aware of what's required of me in my finances, or how to get there. I have certain responsibilities that need to be fulfilled, and I realize that what I have been doing, the old cycle, is not enough. And this process, the images that are depicted on this card, me stepping into that reality is like saying, I acknowledge that this is the process. This is what will be required of me in order to make ends meet. And the card it's kind of encouraging me. It's saying that is the right way, although it is giving me some suggestions, saying that perhaps I should get a teacher. And I understand what that means, you know. That means I should follow other artists, you know, other live streaming artists and online artists. Follow them, watch how they do things, get tips from them, and hopefully, you know, form relationships with them where they come and watch me in my streams and chat with me and give me instructions while I draw. Unconscious mind is the 10 of Wands in reverse, and this card there's a woman carrying a huge bundle of sticks. So yeah, it's like she's carrying way more than she could. Well, she's managing, she's coping, but the card in reverse is saying to me that I'm overwhelmed by it. There are too many desires that I'm trying to carry to the finish line. Yes, when I started, I said this emotion, I said that emotion, and I started working on all of these different things. But along the way, we're supposed to let go of the things that are not working and focus on the things that are working. Like when we get to the 7 of Wands, I've often seen in decks, in the 7 of Wands, the character is yeeting away all of his wands and just holding on to one. He's yeeting them. And so that's like, yeah, you let go of certain desires, you let go of certain intentions, the ones that are not serving you anymore. You set them in motion because you wanted to try them out. You know, it was a trial and error thing. But you've seen now which ones don't work and which ones do work. My unconscious mind is basically going through, it's processing the fact that I'm trying to carry too much. A lot of the things that I've set in motion are not serving anymore, and I'm trying to carry them through. I need to let go of them. Hey JA, I only noticed you asking for a reading now, and yes, I will definitely do a reading for you. So I'm going to do a reading for Golden Jewels. After I'm done with this is my personal reading, because I was alone here for like an hour. So I started doing my own reading, and then I will read for Golden Jewels, and after that I'll read for you, JA. So what are you talking about, Jules, where you say, I want to do some readings for you, check out what the fuck, she is so uplifting and I think she can make you epiphany in your shorts. Wow, what are you talking about? I was just making this V-ish, I don't know what that means. And yes, there is a rooster, there's a whole fuck ton of roosters. Not a fuck ton, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 roosters. There shouldn't be so many. There should only be 1, maximum 2. But they are fast, and I struggle to catch them. I have to hunt them and set traps for them. They were a lot. They were like 16, and now there's only 4. So I've eaten a lot of them. But still need to eat another 3. So more than this card is also talking about unhealthy intentions of mine. Selfish intentions, not unhealthy, just self-serving intentions. They're not here in the present anymore. I don't have those self-serving intentions anymore, but I'm reaping the karma of those self-serving intentions. I'm reaping the karma of past selfishness. I'm also reaping the karma of selflessness. So if I go back to the beginning of when I started my content creation, when I started it, there were a lot of self-serving intentions, but there were also a lot of selfless intentions and self-sacrificing intentions. And that's all gone full circle. That's what this 10 of Wands is saying to me. It's all gone full circle. And so in the aspects of my life that seem to be growing, I'm reaping the karma of my self-sacrificing intentions. And in the parts of my life that seem to be stagnating, I'm reaping the karma of my selfish intentions. Past interval card. Where I have come from is a Queen of Cups. So, in this card, the Queen of Cups is seated on her throne, and her throne is right on the edge of the sea. It's right at the place where the water meets the sea. The first thing that I notice with this card is that the water is getting closer and closer to her, and soon she's going to be underwater. If she doesn't move her throne, she's going to be underwater. Because, you know, tide comes in, tide goes out. She's also holding her cup like it's a very precious thing. With this card in reverse, I feel like it just tells me that I've had a lot of expectations. In my emotional being, I expected certain emotional currents. I expected to feel certain things. I expected to have a certain amount of peace, or a certain amount of joy, or a certain amount of excitement. I expected this journey to bring about certain emotional abundance or certain emotional value, and it has brought me much emotional value, but my expectation was a detriment. The fact that I had expectations, I thought it would happen a certain way, and it didn't happen the way I thought it would, so I felt disappointed, and I missed out on what it had brought, the value that it had brought. Or I didn't miss out on it, but I was disappointed by it. I was expecting something else. It's also, I feel like personally attacked by it. It's like saying to me that I have placed excessive value on my own cup, my own emotional welfare, my own creative process. I've overvalued it and placed its value above other things that were of a higher importance or a higher priority. The throne being seated on the sand, on the place where the water meets the earth, that kind of talks to me about like intuitive living, living in a place of magic. It's, if water represents death, let's imagine water represents death and the sand or the land represents life, then it's like the place between life and death. Seating your throne, ruling that reality right between life and death, which is like where the spirit realm meets the physical realm, where magic meets mundane, that kind of thing. Which resonates, that is where I have lived, that is where my throne is. And it's also a warning to me, saying that if I don't move my throne, I have to keep moving it back, otherwise I will be drowned. I'll be drowned by the waters. It'll cover me over completely. I have to move my throne with the progress of the water as it comes higher and higher, and I have to go back with it as it recedes, as it waxes and wanes. Lots of reverse cards here. Only 2 the right way around so far. King of Pentacles in reverse. King of Discs. So he's got bulls. Or she. Very non-binary character here. There are bulls' heads on either side of the throne. That kind of talks about the strength of the bull, he's like, if he's charging and he gets his motion going, nothing will stop him. Discs is to do with the financial world. He's holding his disc, which is the representation of his security, with his left hand, not with his right hand, so it's like, if your right hand is your dominant hand, then whatever you hold in your right hand, you're giving all importance to. If you're putting it in your left hand, it's like it's secondary importance. You need your right hand for something else. So it's kind of talking about putting security, and that security and finances and health, it's secure enough that it can be made secondary. That I can just put it in my left hand, I can shift it from my right hand. I can stop giving all my focus to it and give all my focus to something else and just maintain it with my left hand, my less dominant hand. The King cards often talk to me about rebirth, but this is the Rider-Waite deck, and so in the Rider-Waite deck, the Knight is rebirth. In the Thoth deck, the King is rebirth in the Rider-Waite. So complete change, complete rebirth, complete death of the old, rise of the new. That's on my horizon. I feel like that's specifically talking about my the electricity situation, the solar moving from state power to off-grid power. It's also kind of saying that, like, it's something I don't want to acknowledge, but it's kind of saying that my stream or my content, something is going to dramatically change there in the content that I'm creating and how I go about all of this, everything that I'm doing in my physical world, my technology, everything. The card in reverse is saying that this is going to be forced on me. I'm not going to have a choice. It's not something I'm going to choose and say, hey, I need to go through this rebirth. I need to let go of everything I've been doing, start something new. No, it's the universe is going to give me circumstances that force me to let go of what I have been doing and start something new. And it's okay, because I've reached a level of security. My security is no longer, no longer requires all of my focus. I can shift it to my left hand, and I can give my right hand time to rest and focus on something else, focus on something new. Hey Subin, welcome back. Knight of Swords. So where does the knight fall in? We got page, and then knight, and then king. Is there a queen? Yes, we have a queen of cups there, so it would probably go page, knight, queen, king, page, queen, knight, king. What order does it go in? Page, queen, knight, king, page, knight, queen, king.
I have no idea, babe. You would know better than me. Doesn't even matter.
Kind of does.
Not to me.
Knight. Knight.
Page comes before the knight, babe.
Yes, and the knight comes after the page.
Yes.
Okay. Does that make sense to me? Does that make sense to me? If that is the case, then the king is not what I thought it was. King is not rebirth. King is rule. King is co-creation. King is like art. Artistic process. Working together with others. Balance, temperance. So basically what the King of Pentacles then is saying to me in reverse is not to do with rebirth and the end of things and the start of new things. It's talking to me about working together with my partner and with new connections in order to create financial growth and security. And that because of the co-creation, the fact that I can rely on others and work with others, I won't have to dedicate all of my energy and focus and time towards financial security. I'll be able to shift, again, that symbol of shifting the disc from the right hand to the left hand, so that the right hand can be free to do something else. And the card in reverse indicates to me that I need to improve my teamwork game, basically. The card in reverse is just a warning to me saying that my teamwork game is lacking a bit. I struggle to allow my creative process to support others, to inspire and slot together with another person's creative process. My creative process is still very much my own process. Yes, Mr. Subin, I am reading today, as you can see. This is my own reading, because I was sitting here alone for a long time and I got bored and decided to do a reading for myself. I'll do a reading for Golden Jewels next, and then there's a JA, and if JA is still here, I'll read for JA, and Mr. Subin, you'll be after JA. And then this Knight of Swords, this is me, myself, and my attitude in the situation. In this present situation. And the Knight of Swords, the Knight talks to me, this Knight, the Knight in this deck talks to me of like facing challenges, overcoming challenges. It talks a bit about self-sacrifice, of making compromises of things that I would consider important, or things that I would desire, or my own purpose or my own goals, sacrificing them for the sake of others. Certain aspects of it, making compromises. Adapting. It's like an inner battle, a battle against myself, against the things that I don't enjoy or the things that I consider to be uncomfortable. like deliberately going towards those things that I don't like about myself or about my reality, things that I find uncomfortable or stressful, deliberately facing them, deliberately going to war against them. For the sake of growth, for the sake of evolution, for the sake of breakthrough. And that's intellectual breakthrough that we're talking about. Intellectual breakthrough. So that's my attitude now. It's saying that my attitude is like I'm deliberately facing things that I don't enjoy about my reality, deliberately facing discomfort, deliberately facing challenges in order to make breakthroughs, particularly within my mental reality, my mental sphere, intellectual breakthrough and goals, intellectual goals. Deliberately communicating about things that are difficult or painful to communicate about in order to sort it out. I'm facing it head first like a warrior. Outside influences is a 7 of Cups. Seven of Cups. So this is, I can see exactly what this is talking about in my life. It's that there are people on the outside who are like completely unrelated to me that are dramatically impacting the emotional state of my house. And they don't even realize the kind of impact they're having. But basically they're bringing rapid shifts from different emotional currents, positive, negative, chaotic. But we are facing them. I am facing them, and those in the house are facing them. This card is not reversed, which would imply that we're distracting ourselves and trying to avoid them. We're facing them and understanding why these outside influences are able to create such emotional disharmony. Facing it and seeking out the root, which is a good thing. Knight of Discs, hopes and fears, my hopes and fears. So in this card, the Knight, also very androgynous, very non-binary. The Knight is holding a disc in the right hand. Not the left hand, the right hand. As we saw with the King of Discs, he's holding his disc in the left hand, which means he doesn't have to give all of his focus to his security and his health. But the Knight does. The Knight is giving all of his focus and energy to his finances and his health. In the Knight of Swords, the horse is charging, the horse is running, and the knight has his sword drawn and he's running like he's going into battle. The Knight of Pentacles seems to be standing still. The horse isn't moving. So this card, it's talking to me first of all about my hope. Yeah, hopes and fears. So on the side of that coin, the hopes side, it's saying that I am hoping that whatever blockages or whatever resistances I'm faced with in my financial reality, in my physical reality, hopes that they can be overcome by dedicating all of my focus and all of my energy towards a breakthrough. And fears that that's not enough, that it doesn't matter how much energy or focus I give to this aspect of my life, that it won't result in a breakthrough, and that I will continue to sit in suffering. Suffering, is that the right word? It's discomfort, it's uncomfortable. Not suffering, just discomfort. So there's discomfort, and I'm hoping that I can make a breakthrough by giving all of my attention and all of my focus towards that aspect where there are resistances. And my fear is that it's not going to be enough. No matter how much energy or focus I put there, it's not going to be enough. That's my fear. That the discomfort will continue perpetually and just get worse. Outcome. 6 of Cups in reverse. Yuck. So in this card I've got, I can see a mom giving a cup to her daughter. She's holding a cup, and the cup is bubbling and overflowing with cool sparks and lights and foam, and she's giving it to her daughter. So 6 is a number of relationships, so we can see that relationship here between the mother and the daughter. And cups is to do with emotion. So it's like, what this symbol is saying is that the one aspect, one partner of the relationship, the one individual is giving emotional fulfillment and abundance, giving a gift, an emotional gift to the other, like saying, hey, I appreciate you and this relationship, and I want you to feel the same. I want you to feel that abundance and that appreciation and that affection. The truth is that with a 6 card, it's a 6 of Cups card, that's happening from both sides. Both are giving that cup. It's not just like here we see a mom giving it to the daughter. It's actually they're both, one is giving the cup to the other is giving the cup. Yeah, that's 6 of Cups energy. And the card is in reverse, which, yeah, it warns that one or both partners may not be able to appreciate that value, or might feel like it's what's in the cup might make them aware of their shortcomings or limitations. That's what the reverse indicates, is that like that gift of emotional well-being, it makes the other one feel inadequate. That's what the reverse is warning of. Which is why when I turned this card over I said yuck, because yeah, I understood what it was saying. Putting that understanding into words sometimes a bit tricky. Hey Elisa. This is a difficult spread because I don't want these to be my cards. But I can't make reality the way I want it to be. I have to accept reality the way it is. I would have liked to see cards like the sun and the universe. The mage the right way around. But no, the fool the wrong way around instead. I would have liked to have seen fortune the right way around. The universe, the sun. Yuck. God's like, why are you being gross? Yuck. Okay, Jules, are you still here? My viewer counter is at 2, so are you still here? Because if you're here, Jules, I can read for you. Thanks for the advice, Godslick. I don't want to be overwhelmed. I'm trying to create a balance. If I say free tarot, I get a lot of leeches. And it gets overwhelming. I get a lot of people asking stupid questions that are not actually valuable. I stopped making my title Free Tarot for that reason. So Jules, you got a question, or shall I just read general for you? It's tricky to rock around. So yeah, I just like, I'm trying to find a balance in my titles. But thanks for the suggestion, I will consider it. I'll consider that perhaps my title needs adjusting. I don't mind Godslick, but we do have a queue. When we do tarot streams, we have a queue. So Golds and Jewels is next, and I'm just gonna read general. I can't sit around waiting forever. Thanks, Mr. Subin. I'm not sick or anything, but thanks. Just not looking forward to all the challenges that are still on the horizon for me. It's like, when does it stop? Hey, when does it stop? Can we have some peace and harmony for a change? Why is it always going to be adversity and struggle? Funny you say sun, as my 17-year-old types Beastie Boy lyrics. Okay. You have a 17-year-old son. What advice do these cards, the spirits of these cards, have for Jules? The 9 of Swords. Jules, your first card is a 9 of Swords. So this card is saying that you have been waking up feeling overwhelmed, like the very first thought that comes to your head when you wake up in the morning is overwhelmed, like, oh my god, there is so much to get done, there are so many goals that need to be done today, and things that I couldn't finish yesterday, I have to add them to the list today, which probably means things that I need to do today are not going to get done, because I'm like constantly trying to catch up. So this card, it wants to point out that you need to go and self-reflect a little bit. You need to go into yourself and do a little bit of self-reflection. You want to look back at, where you've been in a similar situation in the past and how you coped and how you got through. Remembering the mistakes you made so that you don't repeat them in the present. Remembering how you made how you find success so that you can repeat that method for success in the present. And yeah, this card is saying to you that you are quite a responsible individual. You're quick to take responsibility for your mistakes, and you also don't neglect to recognize yourself when you do well. So it wants to say well done for that. That's a highly valuable lesson to have, and it just wants to remind you to apply it in the present moment. In the present, I have the Death card in reverse. Number 13. Death card in reverse. So this could be talking about a myriad of things, but basically it implies ends, painful endings, and new beginnings. Usually a Death card in reverse talks about a relationship. It doesn't have to be a romantic relationship, but like relationship with a friend or a parent or partner, or even just a group of people that used to be close with, now that relationship coming to an end and you're having to start again or move into a different focus on other relationships. The Death card in reverse, it's saying that you're mourning something that doesn't need to be mourned. Like you're reminiscing and like, oh, if only those people were still in my life. Oh, if only it wasn't ending. If only I still had access to that value. And the only reason that's a detriment is because while you're spending time thinking about how things used to be or how things could be, you're missing out on all the value that is present. Because when old things fall away, opportunities for new things come into the present. So if you're focusing on old things, you're not going to see those opportunities that are coming up in the present. So this just wants you to turn it the right way around. Embrace the death. Embrace the end of the old. Embrace the start of the new, so that you can be present with the new. You can be present with the new things that are starting and the new opportunities that are coming up. So I feel like this card is talking to me as well. The lesson of this card is talking to me as well, because I saw the Fool card in reverse in my spread. So the lesson of this card is talking to me as well. Future interval is the 5 of Wands. Oh, this is a funny card. In this card, there's a bunch of women, and they're like trying to beat each other with wands. They're like having this massive stick fight. Some of them are wearing masks like it's COVID. Very interesting. In this card, it's a key to unlock the future. It's about desires, so it's a key to unlock the future you desire, the outcome you desire, and also a warning on the things that might keep you away from that outcome. So it's saying just do the best that you can. You know, you don't have to leap in great bounds. You don't have to fly towards your outcome or your goals. You just take it one step at a time, one small step. Apply your knowledge and your skills and your technology and your finances to the best of your ability. Don't try and do more than you can with what you have and what you know. Just do little bits at a time. Every step you take brings you towards your outcome. And as long as you're doing it like that, as long as you're taking one small step at a time, you will eventually reach your outcome. Trying to jump further than you can, you will get hurt. You'll fall, you'll get hurt, you'll probably end up backtracking. So that's the warning. It's saying don't try and do more than you're capable of, because that will just create resistances and it will just send you backwards. You want to move slowly. It's like, here's a good example, you know, if you're trying to climb, you're trying to jump on stepping stones to get higher and higher and higher, and this is point A and that's your end goal. Like all the way up here is your end goal, and over here is where you currently are. You can't just jump from here to there. You will probably miss your mark, fall and get hurt. So you got to find a middle point, you know, you got to jump to a middle point from here to here, and then you can get up there. So that's kind of the key that it's saying to you. Take it slow. Yeah, you don't have to leap to your outcome. You can take small steps from here to there. And if you try to leap, that's the warning. You will probably miss your mark and you'll probably end up going backwards. So yes, just remember to take it slow. You're crying with relief because relief is pouring out of you, pausing to contemplate the magnitude of what has been revealed. You feel that you are golden, your career is peace and love, and wow, you're my mirror. You're my mirror on my Android. And you're welcome. Oh. Okay, so after Jules was JA. If JA is here, I can read for you JA. But I doubt JA is here, so just asking for JA to confirm. Otherwise, asking for Subin to confirm. Mr. Subin. Mr. Subin is here, so I'm going to read for Mr. Subin, and then after Mr. Subin, I can read for God's Lake. trying so much. Exactly, I was saying that with the mirror. Lol. No. I'm gonna read for you generally, Mr. Subin, unless you have a question. General it is then. Fantastic. Okay. General guidance for Subin. Five of discs in reverse. That's your past card, Mr. Subin. So this card is kind of saying that you have been like praying and hoping and maybe doing magic and spellcasting to create financial abundance for yourself, to create security for yourself. Like in this card we've got two women, or maybe not. They could be male or female. Okay, we've got one man and one woman, and they're outside of a church, it would seem. Now, I don't know, maybe it's not a church, but it kind of looks like a church window. And there are lots of coins in the window. And the man here is holding his hands together like he's praying. It's like he's cold. He's outside the church. He's in the cold and the snow. He wishes he could be inside the church and be warm and fed and taken care of, and he's like praying to the God of the church to let him in, but he's still out in the cold. So that's kind of talking to me about what's been going on for you. You've been hoping and praying and hoping and maybe casting spells, but you've still got to do a little bit of work, you know. The universe wants to give you the desires of your heart. God wants to give you the desires of your heart, and wants to keep you secure, wants to make sure you've always got enough. But you have to demonstrate that you're willing to go the distance. It kind of reminds me of the story of Moses when he's standing at the water, at the Red Sea, and the people are crying out to God, save us, the Egyptians are coming to kill us. And God says, I have given you my staff. Why are you crying out to me? Use the staff I've given you, hold it over the waters and part them. Basically saying, my spirit is with you, I'm ready to open the sea so you can pass through safely, but I need you to stop crying and actually lift the staff up and have faith that you're going to be able to get through the sea. So that's what this card is kind of saying. You're asking for security, maybe you're praying for finances and security, but then not actually applying for a job. It's like, please God, give me a job, and then not actually applying for a job, just going to sleep. And the same would apply for spell casting. If you are casting spells, it's like you cast a spell for great financial security and great financial wealth, but there's no way for that wealth to come to you. You don't have a working job, you don't have a creative project that you could use to get money. You don't have anywhere for that abundance to come. So yes, when you cast a spell, you're attracting wealth. When you make a prayer for wealth, you're attracting wealth, but you need to have a pathway for that wealth to reach you. You have to have something for that wealth to reach you. Like, here's an example. If I sell an album, right? If I have a musical album that's on Bandcamp and it's for sale, but no one's buying it, and then I cast a spell for abundance, suddenly people might start buying that album, would probably, or it might come in some other way. If I have things to sell and no one's been buying it, again, and I cast a spell for wealth and abundance, then suddenly people start buying it. So this card kind of says to you that you've got to, at some point, you've got to take action of your own as well. You can't just constantly be casting spells or praying for security. You have to actually demonstrate to the universe that you're prepared to do some work in return for your security. Number 20 in the present is called Judgment. So in this card there are a lot of naked people in boxes, and there's an angel in the sky, and they're all holding their hands up. It looks like they're clapping. They're holding their hands up and clapping. It's a funny symbol, man. It's funny symbols. Anyway, Judgment card is like, it is about judgment, but not about judging. It's not about Judgment Day or the end of the world. It's not about, you know, when someone judges you, it feels cuck. It's not about that kind of judgment. It's about like righteous judgment. You know, if someone goes to court and the judge rules that they are guilty or innocent, that's a righteous judgment. They're making that based on evidence, whether it's like fact or fiction. So if you're living your life and you have friends or people around you and they start, I don't know, they start behaving irresponsibly, they start taking drugs, and then you can judge for yourself, hey, that kind of behavior will lead to ruin. I'm working on a project, and whatever, all the effort that I have been putting into my project would be sabotaged if I had to become irresponsible all of a sudden or start overindulging in drugs and substances. That would sabotage all the work that I've been doing, and that's a righteous judgment. You don't have to force them to change or tell them they're wrong or evil for doing what they're doing. Your judgment is that it's not right for you. That behavior would be detrimental to you. That's righteous judgment. And judgment also applies to the self. You look at yourself in every moment. If you make a mistake, you judge it and you say, okay, that behavior didn't result in positive growth for me. It resulted in backtracking. I went backwards because I did that. I will avoid doing that in the future. So every time that you make a judgment on yourself, you're able to move forward with more grace and more precision, because you're judging and learning from every step that you take. Whether it's a good step and you judge that was a good step, or if it was a bad step and you judge that was a bad step. So this card is saying that that's what you're doing in the present. You are judging those around you righteously. You are seeing what aspects of their character and their behavior is constructive, good examples to follow or not. And you're judging yourself. You're judging every step that you take. Seeing your steps as positive, as constructive or deconstructive, and judging it accordingly, so that you can be more graceful and more aligned with your goals and your future with every new step that you take. So this card, it's just really great to see in the present, because it means that you have learned from this, that you are coming out of this place. You know, over here you are praying and hoping but not doing anything. This card implies that you can see yourself and you're trying to make the change that you need to make. Future interval is the Five of Cups. So in this card, there is again, it could be male or female. There's someone wearing a coat, standing in front of his cups. 3 of his cups are spilling over. They're lying on the ground. They've been spilled. They're empty, but he's still got 2 cups. So these cups talk about your emotions and your creative potential. So you have all of this creative potential, and you have all of this emotional capacity for emotional wealth. But there are certain people or certain events that have come and they knocked those cups over. So this card says you have a choice. You can either get upset and miserable and cross because 3 of your cups are kicked over, or you can be grateful that you still have 2 cups that are full and just continue working with 2 full cups and refill your 3 cups later. You can either, like in this card, the man or the woman she's looking so sadly, he's looking so sadly at the 3 spilled cups, but there's 2 full cups behind him. So yeah, it's like saying that to you. You can get cross with the people around you who are taking from your emotions, people who are stifling your creative expression. You can get cross about that, or you can just focus on the ways that you can still express yourself, what you can still do with your emotions. You can either focus on the cups that have been spilled and cry about the milk that's been spilled, or you can focus on the cups that are still full and use them. You know? That's what this is saying to you. Sure, no problem, Subin. And then God's Lake, I can read for you now. I think I can read for you now. I think you're next in the queue. God's Lake, you cannot use other people to justify your own tarnish. You can't say bad things and do bad things and say, oh, it was that guy's fault. No, it's your own fault. It's all up to you. Yes, when you're surrounded by toxic examples, it's really hard. It's easy to follow their example, but you can't blame them. You can't blame them for your actions. Like, let's say I live in a neighborhood where there's a lot of gang warfare, and I look out my window and I see a gangster shoot another gangster, and then I think, hey, I'm gonna go and be a gangster and shoot another gangster. And then I do it and I feel shit about it and I blame the other gangster that I saw. No, it was his fault because I saw him through my bedroom window. He was shooting people, so I decided to do it too. That's absolutely absurd. then Godslick, I also just want to say I've been ridiculed and I've been bullied and I've been shamed for being who I am and for my character. I've had people try and forcefully change me and suppress me, and it's been very painful and difficult to go through that. But that is how it is for everyone. Whether you succumb, you know, if someone is a sweet soul, as you say, and they get bullied and oppressed and they're surrounded by toxic people who try and change them, and then they change, they still got bullied and oppressed. If you were that same sweet soul and you got bullied and oppressed and you didn't change, you still got bullied and oppressed. So it doesn't matter if you succumb to the peer pressure or not, you're still going to experience the pressure. It's up to you what you do with the pressure, how you respond to the pressure. What was Georgia's first impression of Godslick? 6 of Swords, 2 of Discs, 10 of Wands. Very interesting. So in this card there are 2 people in a boat, and the one person seems to be pinned down in the boat by 6 swords, and the other person is rowing the boat. So this is, it's like the boat is a symbol of life. So if you're living in life, right, you're going from point A to B. Your life is a vehicle. It's a boat, it's a car. If you dream about sailing a boat, it's like a symbol of your life. So this is a symbol of life, and there are 2 people in this life vehicle. There are 2 people traveling towards the same destination. They have similar goals. They live in the same space. They are probably friends, or a mother and daughter, or a husband and wife. And one of them, the swords are responsibilities, the swords are goals and objectives. So one of them is pinned down by all of their responsibilities, which means they can't row the boat. So their life stagnates, their life stands in one place. And then the other person, the one who is not pinned down by responsibilities, rows the boat, makes sure they keep moving. So they're working together, basically. This is a symbol of working together. So, George's first impression of you is that you guys could work together. Like, she felt like your intellect, the things you know, your goals, they complement her. She can learn from you, and you can learn from her. And by talking to you about her goals, about her plans, about what she's studying, she feels like she could do better by talking to you about it, and by seeing how you follow your goals, seeing how you study, she could learn from that. And she also feels like you could learn from her. Like, you could learn from her purpose, you could learn from her study methods. She feels like there could be collaboration, even if you don't end up in like a romantic relationship or whatever. She still feels like you guys could be good friends, and it would be a beneficial friendship to have. Working together. The 2 of Discs in the present. And this card talks to me about hope for a relationship. It's like in the present, she wants more. Well, she sees like there's potential for more. In you, there's a potential for a boyfriend. In you, there's potential for sex. In you, there's potential for romance, an opportunity. You look like an opportunity or an option, basically, is what this 2 of Discs is saying. You look like an option. And the card is the right way around, which means that she's going to do what she can to claim you as an option, as a potential. Like, she's not gonna, the way that this is not true for all girls and it's not true for all boys, but boys often, they will wait until they see a girl is interested, or they will see a girl they're interested in, and then they will make a move. They'll ask to go on a date. They will tell the girl she's beautiful. They will leave sweet notes or whatever. They will do active things to try and get her attention and try and get her to appreciate him. A girl, on the other hand, does subtle things. She will like give some kind of indication that she's interested, and then she will wait to see if he's gonna come to her. That's not true for all girls. It's not true for all boys. Some girls do those sweet things that boys do. They go out of their way to capture, to hunt their partner. But it's usually the boy who does that, and the girl waits. So what you can expect to see her here is that she's going to give you the signal that she is interested and would be interested in trying it out at least. She's interested in maybe going on a date, see where it goes, get to know you. Yes, of course being a hunk helps. What are you talking about? Future interval is a 10 of wands in reverse. So this card says that it's a little too much, and she knows it. Like, it's saying that a relationship between you and Georgia would be a bad idea, because you have a lot of things on your plate. You have study, you have school, you have whatever comes after that, exams, and that's a lot of pressure, and a relationship is more pressure. It's more responsibility. So the 10 of wands here, there's a woman carrying a whole bunch of sticks, and it's like it's too much, it's too heavy for her. So that's what this card is saying, is that you already have so many sticks to carry. If you guys get into a relationship, it's like you have too many sticks then, and it's going to be very heavy and very hard to carry it through to the finish line. And she knows that. Doesn't mean she doesn't want it. Doesn't mean she isn't willing to try. I'm going to school to see girls. I don't do anything else in school. That's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. But each to his own. So that's the end of my queue. I'm going to stick around for another 15 minutes. We can chat, or maybe someone else will come in for a reading. But basically we're done for the day. Mr. Subin, I already gave you a reading, but thanks for sticking around. I do appreciate your company. And, sorry, I assumed you were saying you're here because you wanted another reading. But thanks for sticking around. You're most welcome to chat with me. But I only give one free reading per person. I'm starting to feel peckish again. I ate at 10 o'clock and now it's 2 o'clock. The color scheme today is a bit bleak, isn't it? The video looks a little bit bleak. The overcast light. I'm not sure. A lot of I lay my eyes on seems to me like some girls make it obvious. Make what obvious? Mr. Subin says, I hope you get lots of views. Thank you. Yeah, I'm not so worried, to be honest. The point of being here is for the people who come. It's for the people who do watch. It's not about getting many views. It's not about loads of subscribers. It's about bringing value to the people who do receive the value, like you guys. And even if no one watches the video when I'm live, people who watch it afterwards, it's also for them. Like back when I started streaming, no one would watch my videos. No one would watch my live stream, but some people watch them afterwards. And yeah, that was what they were about. It was for that one person, or those two people who watched it afterwards. Hey, Exclaim. Exclaim says, I'm watching. Who's my favorite viewer? Says Godslick. Who's my favorite viewer? Who do I get most excited to see in the chat? I like Exclaim. Exclaim is probably my favorite viewer. or my partner Aziza Zura, my favorite viewer, but she hardly watches, not because she doesn't like the stream, but because she's being considerate. If she's watching my stream while I'm streaming, then it like takes away from the connection. Godslick says, am I in the top 10? Are you in the top 10? We'll find out. We'll find out. How am I doing? Asks Exclaim. So I'm doing okay, thank you for asking. You're gonna make me cry with your big emotional iceberg tips, says Exclaim. How are you doing, Exclaim? How are you doing today? Yes, Godslick, you're probably in the top 10. Probably. There's my favorite viewer.
Your favorite girl?
My favorite viewer.
Oh.
And yes, my favorite girl. Well, actually, Dina's my favorite girl. Sorry. Sorry about that.
Am I your favorite woman?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, I can deal with that. I don't think I can compete with your daughter, can I?
No, sorry, no one can. My first love. Oh, you wanted that? I thought you wanted the tarot. No. Sorry. My mistake. Yes, she will be. She will be streaming today, Subin. Exclaim says, good, coming back from work, still working on what we discussed yesterday. Didn't realize how deep I was afraid to die, even though deep down he wouldn't hurt me. Heavy. Yeah, it's interesting. The things we processed yesterday and what you were processing, it's like Azura was processing something similar with her mom, a similar experience of like being shaken and physically confronted by her mother. And she was also doing the same thing, you know, writing to her younger self, going back to that memory and calling herself into the present. And that brought some big emotional tides up in the day, in the evening, and then she even dreamed about it. She dreamed that she was in a shopping center and her mom was going batshit insane with her again. But this time she you know, being an adult, she just held space. She just listened and just allowed her mum to express herself. And at some point she got her mum to lie down and relax, and she was like, shh, it's okay, you're fine, you're safe. Hey, Blue Launch, no, the list isn't closed. God's Lake says, who, you have a daughter too? Yes, I do. Her name is Athena. The most beautiful creature. Wish her the best dealing with her this. Yeah. I feel like she has made some kind of breakthrough after that dream. It's like her subconscious was saying, yes, we've processed this. It's like you processed it consciously during the day, and now your unconscious mind has processed it while you slept. So, yeah. Definitely feel like she's made a breakthrough, even if it isn't over yet. I'm sure that you have also made a breakthrough, even though it isn't over yet. You're still dealing with it, still processing it. Godslick asked me, is a son in my next big interest? No, 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 no. No. My partner wants a son, but I don't know about that. I mean, I want to give her a son. I don't want to deny her that. But I don't know if I want to have any more children. Reconciling that. Her desire for children and my desire not to have any more. Blue Launch says, I believe my brother has shown how I look like to his girlfriend or whatever girl he is talking to. What did my brother's friend or girl think of me? Godslick says, how will you give her a son? How does that work? I'll laugh my ass off. Don't be silly, Godslick. You know how that works. You never learned where babies come from. Ish. Well, I'm not here to teach you where babies come from. But if you think about it, everything in this universe... Oh yes, by the way, you can get a reading, Exclaim. I will do a reading for you. Everything in this universe is in opposites, and those opposites are constantly trying to get back together. And when they do come back together, something new is created. So it works the same with humans. We've got opposite genders, and they want to be together. When they are together, then something new is created. A new human being is created. I use my powerful tip, exactly. So I'm going to read for Blue Launch, and then I'll read for you, Exclaim, because the question came through in that order. The requests came through in that order. Blue Launch, this is a very superficial question. I mean, yeah. I'm not here to judge. I'll read for you. My ways are not your ways, and your ways are not my ways. So what was Blue Launch's brother's girlfriend, possibly just regular friend's opinion of Blue Launch when she saw his picture? Yes, definitely the cards can answer that. It's so weird how my viewer count says 1, but there are at least three viewers. Possibly even 4 at this point. Okay, so I've got a 2 of cups in reverse for you. This is for Blue Launch. The Two of Cups kind of says that there was like a rise up when she saw you, and because of you as a topic of conversation, there was like this stirring of emotion that came up. It inspired action. In this card I see a boy and a girl, and they're moving towards each other with their cups, and it looks like they're going to exchange cups. Like the boy is going to give the girl his cup, and the girl is going to give the boy her cup. So this happened. She gave her cup and received his cup. That was your brother, not you. She gave her cup to your brother, and your brother gave his cup to her, whatever that means. So the cups are about emotions. They were emotionally vulnerable with one another, and they received emotional abundance and value from one another in that conversation. But she's not going to be committing to this. That's just unfortunately her character. She is young, and she hasn't learned that key yet. Like, when you plant a seed, you have to commit to it. She has planted many seeds, and she's never watered them, basically, is what this card is saying. So she planted a seed of relationship with your brother, and she will not be watering that seed. Here we have the Hanged Man. In this deck, it's called the Hanged One, and the Hanged One is wearing fishnets, and the Hanged One could be male or female, but the Hanged One is wearing fishnets. So the point, I guess, of this is to make it non-binary, that it's the Hanged One, not the Hanged Man. It's the Hanged Man or woman. Basically, no, Blue Lords, by cup I mean emotions. I mean just emotional vulnerability and emotional value. Maybe there was some naughty work involved, but the cups are not talking about the naughty work. Okay, so Hanged One. What is this saying? So this is kind of saying that she realizes this issue where she plants seeds but doesn't commit to them. She starts relationships and doesn't commit to them. She can see that about herself. And she knows what she has to do in order to overcome. She knows what she has to do to change that cycle. So that's what she's doing in the present. If that looks like she's distancing herself from your brother, or friend zoning your brother and not turning it into a romantic or sexual relationship, that's the work for her. That's the process of learning how to commit to relationships and not start flings and then forget about them and not commit to them and lose them. If that, whatever she's doing in the present, it is her facing that aspect of herself, that shadow aspect, and trying to find a way to change it. Miss Cutie Rose, welcome. Future card is Death in reverse. So the Death card, it talks about the death of a relationship here in reverse specifically. So if she is your brother's girlfriend, she's not going to be your brother's girlfriend for very long. If she's not your brother's girlfriend, it's also just saying that the relationship might not last very long. Or it doesn't even have to talk about her relationship to your brother. It's just any relationship. There is a relationship that is coming to an end. It has been moving towards an end for a while, and it's very soon going to reach its end. And that's not a bad thing, because it's part of this process of her learning how to break old cycles and step into healthier cycles and healthier patterns. So that's your reading. I know, the tarot was deeper than your question was. Your question was superficial, the tarot gave a deeper answer. Probably not what you were looking for, but hope you got some value in it anyway. How am I? I am fine. I am fine and new. I told you what the tarot said. So that's all I'm going to tell you, Blue Lord. Thanks for joining me today. And how are you, Miss Cutie Rose? I'm doing okay. I don't really know what else to say. Like, I'm not particularly fantastic. This day is just an average day. It's nothing, doesn't feel like an exciting Friday or a terrible day. It's just a day. There have been some encouraging things happen today, and there have been some discouraging things that have happened today. So yeah, how's your Friday been? Am I alone in this like meh-ness of this Friday? No, Blue Lorch, I do mind. I give 1 free reading per viewer, so I'm not gonna do that again, free of charge. I'm glad to hear that, Miss Cutie Rose. And who is that? That's Quiniel. Welcome, Quiniel. Can you have guidance for what you should do in your current situation? Okay, guys, so I've only got 15 minutes to be online, and I'm gonna do a reading for Exclaim, and depending on what the time is, I'll see if I can fit. Pardon me, if I can fit Cutie Rose in. But I don't think I'll be able to get to you, Quiniel. Unless Cutie Rose doesn't want... No, I don't even think I'm gonna be able to do more than 1 more. I'm gonna read for Exclaim now. Looking for advice regarding his current process. The process we've been working through since yesterday. So as you can see, Exclaim, this is not the deck I usually read from. I usually read from the Thoth deck, the Thoth Tarot. This is the Modern Witch Tarot. This belongs to my partner. I bought it for her birthday. This is the first time I use it in a stream. I have used it to give her readings, as she asked me to, and she's used it plenty, but this is the first time I'm using it in a live. Light blue is unusual indeed. Godslick, I don't think anything of racist people. I think racism, is ridiculous. I think racism is the most ridiculous thing, one of the most ridiculous things, along with religion and politics. Racism is on that level with those things, ridiculous, stupid, unnecessary. But I've got no issue with racists personally. I only have issue with racist behavior. Racist words and behavior. I'm not going to judge anyone. I'm not going to shun a racist and say I'm not going to be your friend because you were racist. No. I'm not petty like that. I'm not going to be your friend because you're Muslim. I'm not going to be your friend because you're Christian. I'm not going to be your friend because you're right wing or because you're a Democrat. No, I'm not petty like that. Although I think religion, politics and racism is stupid, each to his own. Long time no see, Zabsess. Welcome back. I have been offline for a while. Like I said, Godslick, I don't think anything of religion. I think it's ridiculous. All religion is ridiculous. Okay, so what advice do the spirits have, Exclaim, regarding this issue we've been processing since yesterday? Yeah, the last time I saw you, Zapzest, I was about to draw cards for you and then I got disconnected. Very sorry about that. It was a while ago, quite a while ago, but yeah, that's what I remember last. Okay, so I've got 9 of Swords for you, Exclaim, in reverse. So, this is talking about thoughts that became overwhelming, like waking up in the morning and feeling overwhelmed by the tasks in front of you in the day. Like, I have to go to this location, I have to go to work, I have to do this, I have to speak to this person, and there's this stress that comes with it. Stress because of that traumatic memory that you're busy processing. Stress and the fear of the conflict and the fear of retaliation that makes all of these things feel way more overwhelming than they need to be. And you not really understanding why, or maybe you did understand why but didn't want to really take responsibility for it, not then, didn't want to acknowledge it, but you have now, and this has come to a close. This is coming to a close in the present. What you're processing is taking all that weight off of your regular tasks. You're not going to have that irrational fear of conflict in everything that you do from the moment that you wake up. This is a very important thing that you're busy processing. Is that what happened? I only remember you being very excited about seeing your queen soon. Yes, that was true. She was coming home. She did come home, didn't she? I got up and I went and greeted her. But then I came back, and then I wasn't here very much longer before things fucked out. Ten of discs in reverse in the present. It's interesting. In this card there's like a whole family. There's an old woman, and there's a young man and a young woman, and there's a baby, and there are dogs. It's like a whole family. And there's a house, and there's a garden. It's completion. 10 completion. 10 of discs. 10 of wealth. Relationship, security, finances, everything, family, all of it secure. But the card is reversed. So what is that reverse talking about? So that reverse is saying that this process that you're going through, these memories that you're dealing with, it's kind of disconnecting you from that wealth, from that family wealth, the wealth that is family. Someone dear to me recently said that I realize that wealth is not material things. Wealth is not how much money you have, how much you're earning. Wealth is your family. Wealth is in family. Yeah. So this is kind of saying to me that this process, or wherever you were living before you processed this, like whatever mental state you were in before you processed, was preventing you from tapping into the true potential of the wealth that is your family. Like, you've got a pretty big family, a lot of people, but how often do you see them? How often do you guys interact? How much support do you actually give one another? It's saying that you and the rest of your members of your family are missing out on the extent of the value that you guys have in family because of these traumatic events and traumatic memories that you guys haven't been processing but are now processing. So this is going to be turning around. The process that you're going through, sorting through these memories and experiences, is turning this card around. It allows you to access that potential. Future interval is a 2 of cups. So this card is saying to you that what's on the horizon for you, the step you should take, the next step you should take in processing this and turning your 10 of discs the right way around, would be to go to your father with this experience and these emotions and express it in this process. 2 of cups, it's like potential for emotional abundance and emotional resolution. And that potential can be found by, going to the person. You've got all of these emotions, and the emotions are a result of an interaction between you and another human being. So take those emotions and resolve it with that other human being, because they also have scars from that experience, even if they don't acknowledge it. Just like the 9 of Swords says, you weren't acknowledging it, and he's not acknowledging it, and everyone in the family has memories and experiences like this that they're not acknowledging. That turns the 10 of discs upside down, where you guys can't really tap into the true value that your family has, because you're all not dealing with the process, but now you are. And you can spark that healing, that processing for everybody if you can take it to your dad, if you can take it to those who were involved in the experience. Yeah. Like, you don't have to go really deep about it. You can just like bring it up in conversation. You'll probably find you both laugh about it by the end of the conversation. Yes, Godslick, I do. That would be my sister, Yellow Daisy. I think you're talking about my sister, because she had this streak of like purple pink hair. Yep. Face to face or on the phone? What does my intuition say? What does my intuition say here? It says nothing. My intuition says nothing, so I guess it's up to you. But it's not really going to make much of a difference. If you communicate... Okay, this is what my intuition says. If you communicate it on the phone, it's going to be a topic of conversation next time you see him face to face anyway. So, it doesn't really matter. Godslick says, I was doing the black ball thing with the water that you told me to do, and when I read you, I saw that. That's crazy. That's intense. You saw my sister. You saw my sister, dude. In the scrying water. That's fucking amazing. She has a channel on Twitch, by the way. She's not on YouTube, like I am. She's on Twitch. Her username is Yellow Daisy. Lol, stay away from my sister. He's all the way on the other end of the globe. I don't have any stress. My sister can also take care of herself. I've taught her enough about psychic warfare. Exclaim says, thank you for your patience, thank you for your wisdom, thank you, old soul. And thank you, Exclaim. Thank you for the value you bring here. You bring value here every time that you join the stream. You ask valuable questions. Thank you. Thank you very much. You bounce and you reflect, and you're vulnerable, and you allow me to be vulnerable. You are definitely a blessing to this channel and the content I create. So thank you. Okay, so I have to go. Amazing. I look forward to it, Godslick. I look forward to it. You know, like you reading me while I'm reading you. That sounds so cool. I'll do you if you do me. I'll gaze into your bowl if you gaze into mine. Cheers, guys. This was a lot of fun. Let's see if I can raid anyone. No one online. None of my friends and followers, none of those that I follow are online. Crazy. Bye. Just show my tip if you show yours.